Gandhara is one of the foundation stones of Pakistan's historic and cultural heritage. It was a centre of art, a centre of enlightened thought, and a centre of learning from the 2nd century before the Common Era to the 5th century of the Common Era. The art appeared in this region in the 1st century BC, strengthened in the 1st century AD, flourished until the 5th century, and lingered on till 8th century. The purpose of this art was the propagation of Buddhism through the images carved and made in stone, stucco, terracotta and bronze, mostly enshrined in the stupas and monasteries throughout Gandhara. Thousands of such stupas were mentioned by the Chinese pilgrim Huan Chang, who visited Gandhara in the 7th century AD, only few of which have been excavated so far. The main focus of the art was Buddha's life stories and individual images, his previous birth stories or jatakas, and future Buddhas.
Mahayana Buddhism hometown is in Pakistan, in Gandhara. In Gandhara art, there are only in Pakistan Gandhara art, through that we can bring the peace, to bring the interfaith, the harmony of in the world. So it's very important.
Pakistan is one of the few fortunate countries to have been blessed by an abundance of natural and cultural wealth, owing to its unique geographical location and the consequent imprints left by successive civilizations. The people of Pakistan indeed have more than one reason to be proud heirs and custodians of this treasure trove, and need to highlight and promote the rich and culturally diverse heritage.
गंधारा सबसे ज़्यादा मशहूर इसलिए है कि वहाँ यहाँ के लोगों ने अपने हाथों से बुद्धा लाइफ स्टोरी कार्व की है। गंधारा में सबसे बेहतरीन और बड़े बड़े लाइफ साइज जो स्कल्पचर मिले हैं वो हमें तखबाई से मिले हैं। ये स्कल्पचर्स जो है, क्योंकि ट्रेजर्स हंटर्स जो थे सबसे ज़्यादा वो यही चोरी करते हैं, निकालते भी हैं, इलीगली खुदाई भी करते हैं और लेकर भी जाते हैं, तो वो जो है ना उनकी प्रॉपर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन नहीं है।
The Gandhara region, which comprises a major part of the northwest frontier province of Pakistan, is well known for its cosmopolitan art that was brought to light by antiquarians and art dealers of the 19th and 20th centuries. Recent research shows that the art of Gandhara, used for the propagation of Buddhism, is the legacy of the great civilization of Gandhara, which hardly has any parallel in the contemporary world. The fact that the northwest of Pakistan has inherited a major part of the legacy of this great civilization makes the people of NWFP the natural custodians of this immense wealth, thereby entrusting the province and its people with a responsibility that comes to them by default. Therefore, concerted efforts are needed to preserve this national asset and to use it to promote tourism, particularly Buddhist tourism. In this context, the museums have a special part to play. In order to preserve the invaluable artifacts of Gandhara art housed in the museums of Peshawar and Swat, UNESCO initiated a process of registration and documentation of museum objects in stores and those on display.
Peshawar Museum is a world-known museum. We have extensive collection of Gandhara sculpture in Peshawar Museum. And this museum originally was not designed for the museum, but it was Victoria Memorial Hall. But during the excavation in the British time, they recovered a large number of sculpture from various sites in the Northwest Frontier province like Takhbai, Shahbaz Gadi, Jamal Gadi and Sheri Balol.
The three most important sites in the Peshawar Valley, or the cities in the Peshawar Valley, the first one was Push Kalavati. This was the capital of Gandhara.
Peshawar city, its real name is Purushapura, and that became the capital in about 1st century BC. was made capital by the Kushan emperors.
Some of the best pieces which we have got regarding Gandhara civilization or Gandhara period, Buddhist period of or the Gandhara art, so they are from Swat.
There are many stories about the Buddha life are associated with Swat. He is washing his clothes on the Swat river, drying his clothes. His footprints was all are recorded in the Buddhist literature. And there are almost more than 80,000 Buddhist sites in Swat.
Hana Buddha feature the different than other Gandhara statues. The face is similar in Korea and China and Japanese. And so whenever Chinese and Koreans came over here, first they want to go Jhana Buddha, the rock-carving Buddha. They came there to pray and bow and this. Because they thought 8th century, already 8th century, many pilgrims from China and Korea, they came over here. They thought probably one of the Koreans, one of the Chinese pilgrims, they made that rock carving in Jhana Buddha. But now it's totally damaged. They were so sad when they heard the news through the media. They was really so sad.
स्वात म्यूज़ियम में हमारे पास मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म की कलेक्शन थी, जिसमें मेनली स्टोन कलेक्शन थी, जिसमें स्कल्पचर्स थे और टेराकोटा की पॉटरी थी, प्री हिस्टोरिक साइट से बिलोंग करती थी। इसके अलावा स्टक्को मटेरियल भी था हमारे पास और कुछ एथोलॉजिकल मटेरियल भी हमने उस म्यूज़ियम में डिस्प्ले किया था, जो कि स्वात से या सराउंडिंग एरिया से बिलोंग करता था। इसके अलावा कॉइन्स थे, मेटल ऑब्जेक्ट्स भी हैं, जिसमें पॉटरी थी, उनके वेपन्स टूल्स वगैरह भी थे। तो मेनली कलेक्शन में उनकी वैरायटी में हर किस्म के आइटम शामिल थे, जिसमें आयरन, गोल्ड, सिल्वर, कॉपर, हर किस्म की चीज़ें थी।
It was my desire in the Peshawar Museum that we will computerize all the Gandhara sculpture particularly, but the UNESCO, I am very thankful to the UNESCO that they assisted this department and we computerized all the record of the Gandhara objects in the Peshawar Museum.
In order to preserve the invaluable artifacts of Gandhara art housed in the museums of Peshawar and Swat, UNESCO initiated a process of registration and documentation of museum objects in stores and those on display.
म्यूज़ियम का हेल्प ये हुआ है कि म्यूज़ियम का जितना भी रिकॉर्ड है सारा हमारे पास कंप्यूटराइज हो गया। हर कंप्यूटर में तकरीबन उसका रिकॉर्ड है हमारे पास। अभी मतलब वहाँ पे हमारे पास एग्जैक्ट वेट तक, हमारे पास एग्जैक्ट वेट, लेंथ, उसकी हाइट, उसकी मतलब उसको चेंज करना या उसको चोरी होने की सूरत में हमारे पास फुल उसकी रजिस्ट्रेशन हमारे पास है, कोई वो नहीं कर सकता है। उसकी तस्वीर तक हर चीज़ हमारे पास डेटाबेस में फीड है, मतलब अब हमारी चीज़ अपने पास, हमारे पास फुल रिकॉर्ड है इसका। अभी उसकी वेबसाइट की उन्होंने वो दी, वेबसाइट को किस तरह हम अपडेट रखेंगे सारे, और वेबसाइट की वो सारी उन्होंने 2 दिन की ट्रेनिंग थी उनकी, तो ट्रेनिंग होने के बाद उन्होंने हमें फिर अभी वेबसाइट की भी 1-2 दिन बाद लॉन्चिंग हुई इसकी।
जो मैं फेडरल गवर्नमेंट से मेरा ताल्लुक़ था, तो और मैं पेशावर में उस वक्त था, डिप्टी डायरेक्टर था, उसी सर्कल का इंचार्ज था। तो मुझे जो है ना इन्होंने जो है ना 3 म्यूज़ियम की उन्होंने यूनेस्को ने एड दिया कि उसको आप डॉक्यूमेंट कर ले। एक प्रिजर्वेशन का एक जो है ना वो, ताकि कल अगर इधर कुछ हो ही जाए तो हमारे पास मुकम्मल डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हो।
The aim was to make these collections accessible to local populations as elements of cultural heritage. The entire effort, carried out by UNESCO, helped in increasing the number of catalogued objects so they can be better protected against theft.
जिस वक्त हमने डॉक्यूमेंटेशन शुरू की थी तो हमारे पास चंद रजिस्टर थे जो कि 60s से म्यूज़ियम में जितनी भी एंटीक्विटी थी उनकी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के लिए इस्तेमाल होते थे, उनका रिकॉर्ड बनाया जाता था उन पे। तो फ़ोटोग्राफ कोई भी नहीं था हमारे पास अवेलेबल, तो उसमें बाद अगर गैस करना मुश्किल हो जाता था कि जब हज़ारों में आपके पास ऑब्जेक्ट स्टोन के पड़े हुए हैं तो ये अगर फ्रैगमेंट है तो कौन सा है। तो जब ये प्रोजेक्ट हमने शुरू किया तो उसमें हर ऑब्जेक्ट को, चाहे वो फ्रैगमेंट था या कंप्लीट था, उसको मुकम्मल डॉक्यूमेंट किया गया 2D एंगल से भी, उसकी मेजरमेंट भी ली गई, तो उसकी डिस्क्रिप्शन भी रिवायत की गई। तो दूसरा ये हुआ कि काफ़ी अर्से बाद चूँकि डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हुई थी तो उसमें बाज़ चीज़ें में कुछ जो कंजर्वेशन प्रॉब्लम हो गई थी वो भी सामने आ गई, कुछ चीज़ें फ्रजाइल कंडीशन में जा चुकी थी, अगर उनमें कोई क्रैक्स डेवलप हो गए थे तो वो भी सामने आए, तो हमने उनकी वो कंडीशन भी नोट की थी। तो वहाँ के कुछ हालात ख़राब हुए तो हमें वाइंड अप करना पड़ा वहाँ डिस्प्ले म्यूज़ियम का, और उनको शिफ्ट करना पड़ा। तो उसमें हमें बहुत आसानी हुई कि हर ऑब्जेक्ट के फ़ोटोग्राफ, उसकी मेजरमेंट्स, उसकी डिस्क्रिप्शन, कंडीशन, उसको मद्देनज़र रखते हुए उन चीज़ों का हमने शिफ्ट किया कि जिनकी कंडीशन अच्छी थी या सिक्योर थी उनको हमने शिफ्ट किया है, और वो अब एज इट हमारे पास यहाँ सेफ प्लेस में शिफ्ट हो चुकी हैं।
The program focuses on sites and collections in danger and seeks to make them accessible to local populations as elements of their tangible cultural heritage, as well as to increase the number of especially endangered catalogued objects so they can be better protected against theft. Special emphases are placed on the preservation of movable heritage and on study and publication, inventories, capacity building and training of staff in protecting cultural property and assets, museology and conservation, and manuscripts, with the ultimate objectives of developing national inventories and databases, improvements in museology and conservation, and building capacities and training of staff for the protection of cultural property.
Through the media or through the event, through the something regular lecture system, and we need to, or the school syllabus, they don't know, even teachers, professor, other field, they don't know about Gandhara art. So we need to put syllabus in education system.
The major contribution of UNESCO towards our museum is that they provided us some of the equipments which we required for a long time, and they provided us showcases for our storage collection. Because most of the collection that was lying on the floor, and some of the bags in which we have got the pottery, like objects of daily use, so they were mostly spoiled by the humidity, dust. So that is the reason that when they have provided, so we have arranged all our material in a proper way, in a sequence, and we have kept them in those racks in a proper order, so that if somebody is doing a research work, so we can easily trace out the material from those showcases and we can provide them within just 4 or 5 minutes.
How can we preserve the culture heritage? I think that museum is the only institution to preserve your culture heritage and to invite students and general public and to give them lecture on culture heritage for their awareness.
Of late, modern trends in museology have broadened the range of subject matter and introduced many interactive exhibits, which give the public the opportunity to make choices and engage in varied and productive activities. With the advent of the Internet, there are growing numbers of virtual exhibits, web versions of exhibits showing images and playing recorded sound. In Pakistan, there is a need to explore such avenues for a more hands-on approach and a wider choice for scholarly research and display. It is hoped that soon these vistas would open up for our younger generation with UNESCO's cooperation and support.